And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the WardiTV Monday, number 39, your weekly dose of Open StarCraft. I'm of course just VIP with you. I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to our first series of the broadcast. Again, exclamation mark, be in the chat. The bracket is stacked, the bracket is live, and we are jumping on in. As a reminder, once again, just like with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, here we are hosting an event just after Stars Agora. Stars Agora, of course, did just conclude yesterday, I guess just over a day ago, but a lot of players are still traveling. Of course, they're still traveling, and there's some players that are missing, and a big reason for that would be because of Stars Agora. But here we go. We'll be going over the bracket momentarily after this series. For now, we're jumping into our first matchup and spawning in the right-hand corner of ley lines. We have the French Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. It is Arrogfire. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have a more amateur player. It is LiquidSerral. Let's go. Clearly a big Serral fan, and maybe a Team Liquid or a Clem fan, just a melding of the two together here. So, you know, I appreciate it. You know, I'm thought of like DRG Ling. True. I'm thinking of like players like DRG Ling, for example, which also derive their name from Norway Gu. Here we have LiquidSerral as well. I appreciate it. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, you know what's happening. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Of course, Arrogfire is a more established player, and LiquidSerral is more of an amateur, but we'll see what they have to offer. We'll see how they approach stepping into the ring against a pro player instead. What they bring to the table. Do they try to cheese? Do they try to play macro? Do they try to fake out their opponents? What will be the plan? For now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of our Zerg player. Meanwhile, Arrogfire, of course, trying to force some inefficient mining and settling in back at home, going for a standard opener himself. So far, so good. And again, hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Hope you've been having a great weekend as well, enjoying Stars Agora, as well as all the other events that we did host over the weekend, like Fire Cups as well. We were live this morning, and I can report I did get some sleep. Let's go, Maki, let's go. Like 6 hours. I'm looking forward to more sleep. I spent all day after waking up after a Fire Cup. So all day just editing GSL VODs, scheduling as many as I could, and we'll be doing that again either right after this or tomorrow. Let's see. Keep on schedule. Till then, though, we have our take of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener here out of Arrogfire. So far, so good. Does open Stargates, a standard opener. Meanwhile, LiquidSerral going for his own third base as well. So just joining up, just getting to a third. Did we skip Lings? Ooh, we skipped Zerglings, by the way, which means that CranKy into the shade. Drone's going to be going down, and this is going to be a rough start. It is going to be a rough start here. Unfortunately, did skip Zergling production, so with that, the Adept has more free reign. True drone's going to be going down. A good start already here for Arrogfire, and a greedy start here from our Zerg player. Tumor's going to be going down. Now we have two Adepts. They can one-shot drones. One of them will slip in, and once again, drones are going down. A very rough start here for the Zerg player. 3 worker kills. Could have been a little bit more, but we do see Arrogfire just playing it safe. Does pull away. Now we have some Link production. Ooh, and a very early Roach Warren. If we commit, never mind. Roach Warren doesn't quite go down. But that is going to be a lot of Lings now to try to make up for that fact and try to keep up with the Adepts. Meanwhile, they're back at home. Adepts say race back home. The third base is being secure. Stargate opener into Oracle. Second Oracle's on the way. Everything's looking normal so far. No spores in the mineral lines. Queen's out of position, which means more drones are going down. And this is, in a way, like a bit of a skill check here. The early Adept and the early Oracle aggression in PvZ is very standard. It's very standard, and it's very by the book. And here, our Zerg player here is having a bit of a hard time keeping up with said opener. So again, punishing the lack of Lings early on, punishing the lack of Spore, punishing the lack of Queens being in position. Still no Spores, by the way, so more damage can still be done. That natural base is looking very exposed. Oh boy. And with this Roach Warren, we might just be forced all in. Do we only have 3 queens? Oh, only 3 queens! Yeah, the lack of queens. And this is now critical damage. Even going for the queen itself, even going for the workers, just going for a bit of everything. One of the oracles is going to be zoned back. But a very strong start here for Arrogfire. And again, it's one of those things where unfortunately, Lings were late, Queen's out of position, Spores are very late as well, and all these things are being punished. Like, Arrogfire doing a great job of just punishing every single aspect of this early game, showing how tight your early game defense does need to be at this level of play. And if it isn't up to snuff, then harassment can kill you. Oh boy. As here comes the next wave. We have 2 more oracles. We have 4 more depths. And the question becomes, how many drone kills? So far, 20 workers have gone down up to 21. 21 drone kills. Things they try to collapse in, but alas, yeah, we're going to be fine. Arrogfire is going to deal with this. Good position here behind the mineral line. Catching out more Lings, shading into the natural. Queens are out of position. More drones going to be going down. And at this point, this is game-ending damage. I mean, it was already critical damage to begin with, but losing 27 drones like this, it's god, it's brutal. We're not done. Yeah, we're not done. Nowhere close. Losing even more. 16 drone kills. Oracles they could go back in. And behind this, we do have a standard follow-up going into +1 and Blink, going into a Temple Archives as well, going into a standard follow-up in towards Storm. And soon Arrogfire can push. So he can move out. Can soon push across the map. Back at home, unfortunately, LiquidSerral is stuck redroning. Like, LiquidSerral, he has to just redrone, resaturate. I mean, I say that at this point we'd have to go for all-in. We'd have to go for an all-in, but the problem is that there's not really enough economy to sustain for an all-in. Like, that's the issue here, is an all-in isn't really viable, and macroing isn't really viable either. Like, that's just how much damage has been dealt. And here we go, the Stalkers are moving in. Nice target firing out of Arrogfire. Does focus on all 3 Ravagers. Lings are being dealt with as well. And with that, there's barely an army left. There's a handful of Queens, and they have Transfuse. They can try to hold their own, at least for a time. But the stasis goes off. The Queens are picked apart. We do have some Transfuses here, but overall, Arrogfire, he will overwhelm. He'll overwhelm the base, overwhelm the setup. Mineral line is going to fall. And again, it was just a really rough start here for LiquidSerral. Very rough. And I'm hoping that we can tighten things up here as we progress into the series. But there it is. GG is going to get called. And Arrogfire, he will take game number 1. GG. Arrogfire does take a lead in the series. Again, a solid start here. I mean, Arrogfire is coming in as the favorite player. But again, we're here to see what LiquidSerral is made of. Again, is more of an amateur player. I would assume just a big fan of some of the top European players in the form of Serral and Team Liquid or Clem. Could just be a play on Liquid Clem. True. But yeah, just a really rough start, really rough opener here. And again, it does show kind of like that how early game aggression can very quickly snowball out of control if you're having a hard time keeping up. With Adept Harass, with Oracle Harass, and it can all just get very much so out of hand. I think it was, what, 27 drone kills? It was crazy damage. And with that, GG. GG, well played. We're now going to be getting into game number 2. As a reminder, after this series, we'll be catching up on the rest of the brackets, on everything else that has been ongoing. We'll catch up. We'll be able to catch up. My body's ready. Oh, stay ready. Good to see you, Pappy. Good to see you. The first quacker as well. Oh my god. Always good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Stay ready. But yes, we'll be getting into the rest of the bracket after this series as we get ready for game number 2. Let's go. I say that, I mean, we just a little bit of downtime here, so you know what? we can catch up for a moment. We can catch up for a moment here. When it comes to the bracket itself, as I mentioned earlier, we are missing some key players, but a big reason for that is a lot of players are still traveling from Stars Agora. Again, Stars Agora was, what, 2 days ago, less than 2 days ago at this point, so a lot of players are still traveling. That's also why last week we were missing players like Geralt, like Clem, like Cristiano in some of these other big tournaments, likewise in this, or other weekly tournaments, likewise this tournament as well. But yeah, that's why some of the otherwise more notable, more regular Europeans are not here this week. It's actually very Korean dominant, the bracket I mean. It's very Korean heavy, with a couple of Europeans sprinkled throughout, don't get me wrong, a couple. But it was the same last week as well, or similar last week. I guess from the top we have Hero. We have Hero as the #1 seed of the tournament, waiting for the winner of Shameless and Grape in the first round. Likewise, we have Lambo. Lambo, he is starting up his series against Creator. Now, if you saw the title of the stream, we were going to be casting Creator versus Hackers Top into Lambo. That was going to be our kind of first series in our line of matches. But Wardi is going to be covering that series instead. So Wardi, he covered Creator versus Hackers Top into Lambo. So Wardi has you there. Because Wardi is going to be covering that series, we did decide to try to hop into a different portion of the bracket instead. So scrolling down, we have Geralt versus Mini Zerg. Winner goes up against Max Pax in the next round. We have Percival versus Roman the Mold. Winner goes up against, well, I mean, Percival does take the series, now up against Classic in the next round. And then we have our series. We have Arrogfire versus LiquidSerral moving into Cure. That is going to be our next matchup, is the winner of the series against Cure. Oh boy. Here we go. As I guess Cure is the #2 seed of the tournament. Interesting. I'm a little bit surprised that isn't Max Pax. Interesting. that's yeah. I mean, Cure's been looking good recently. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure Max Pax has still been outperforming when it comes to weeklies here. So interesting that they've kept Hero and Max Pax on the same side of the bracket this week. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. As we're getting into game number 2 this morning, in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the French Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, leading the series 1-0. It is Arrogfire. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is LiquidSerral. Had to read 3 times. As a reminder, this is not the Serral that you know. This is LiquidSerral, as opposed to the solid Serral. Oh no, or gaseous Serral. But yes, this is more of an amateur player. Here. Think of like DRG Ling, for those of you that remember from back in the day. We have Dongwei Guru DRG, and then we had a Korean Zerg player take up the mantle of DRG Ling, which was, you know, kind of like in honor or in tribute to DRG. Similar here, where I believe this player is maybe a big fan of Clem and Serral, and his name is also LiquidSerral. So more of an amateur player, just as a heads up. Serral does not play in online weeklies. I don't think he's ever played in an online weekly. I mean, I think maybe Serral has played in like 2 ESL Open Cup Europes, maybe. Someone can like double check on that one, but I don't think. Yeah, Serral, he's not one to sign up for the Open Cups. No. For now, though. We do have our initial opener for like the unnatural hatch gas pool. As we do pull out of gas, getting into Ling speed. Okay. And hopefully we don't skip out on Lings this time. Likewise, Arrogfire going to be opening up standard, gate expand into Cybercore, into the initial adept, moving out across the map. Now, once again, just like the last game, we do have only 2 Lings as opposed to the typical 4. And both Lings are going to be thrown away. I'm hoping that we replace these Lings, because both Lings do go down. And if you recall, last game, LiquidSerral didn't make any backup Zerglings and did end up losing 27 drones. It was brutal. And I see more drones on the way. I see more drones in production. Adept is moving in. No queen here at the natural location. Oh god, it's happening again. This is just so greedy from our Zerg player, but no Zerglings whatsoever. Drones are under fire. Queens are on the way. There we go. Now we're reacting and making some 8 pairs or 4 pairs of Zerglings, but at this point it's a late reaction. It's a late reaction. Drone's going to be going down. A really rough start here. Does get a surround, but the surround is broken and every drone should fall. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, losing 6 drone here, 7 drones here at the natural base. Nice positioning there with the Adepts, shading in towards the main. Lings are trying to keep up, but likewise, a nice kiting here from Arrogfire. Does save the Adept. Nice positioning. Yeah, it does save the Adept. It does pull away. We have 14 more Lings in production. And Arrogfire should be racing back home. Yeah, he is racing back. The Oracle's coming out as well to help defend. And if you recall, something else that happened last game that did hurt LiquidSerral quite a bit, lack of drones. Oh, sorry, lack of spores. Lack of spores here. I mean, there's not many drones to protect, to be fair. So I guess you can make an argument that it's fine. But yeah, because of that, 2 more drones going to be going down. Queen's out of position. No spore. 2 more drone kills. Lings they move out for a counterattack. Adepts are in position. 1 Adept is going to go down. Does get 1, but should only get the 1. More workers are falling. Behind this, it is going to be 9 drone kills, 9 workers going down, 17 Zerglings as well for 1 probe and 1 Adept. So far, a very strong start here for Arrogfire. Very strong start. Now, at least because of the Zergling counterattack, it did keep Arrogfire at home a little bit longer, but we should soon be pushing. Just like the last game, we should be building up to around 5 Adepts alongside the Oracles, moving out across the map, and depending on the setup here, it's going to be a tough hold. We do have 1 spore in the main, but once again, the 3rd base and the natural are exposed. Behind this standard follow-up, we have a Forge, Twilight Hounds, Window +1, and Blink. If you recall, last game did lead towards Storm. As more drones going to be going down. Losing up to 2 more, almost up to 3, but the Oracle's out of energy. Despite that, lost mining time, still some nice damage. Does take 3rd in the shade. How many Zerglings do we have? 7 Zerglings are at the natural. Not in the 3rd, which means more drone kills. And more drones are going down. Lings, they will clean this up. Not without losing 8 more drones. Oh god. This is becoming critical damage. At this point, we've lost over almost 20 workers. 19 drones have gone down. Again, it is brutal damage. And from here, Arrogfire can just safely race back home. Can safely go back home. Can set up. Now moving in with the triple Oracle. No spore. And again, it's just a late spore here from Serral, or LiquidSerral. Very late. Queen gets started down, and at this point, we're forcing an all-in. At this point, there's no droning, there's no saturation, there's no macroing out of this. Blink is not done, but nice positioning, very nice positioning. Kites back, shield battery is complete. Arrogfire holds. Oh, and LiquidSerral is re-droning. Behind this, I believe there is a Roach Warren, but gas income is quite limited here. There's only 1 gas geyser, so can't actually make that many gases at the moment. And here comes Arrogfire, moving in for the kill. So again, just a very similar kind of dynamic to game 1, where early Lings were delayed, like Queens not quite in position, Spores were delayed as well. Brutal stasis trap. Oh my god. Arrogfire, calm down, baby, calm down. Dives on the army, dives on the Queens. Yeah, and with that Arrogfire, he will just overwhelm, he will take down everything. There's barely a standing army. Drones, they cannot escape. Hatchery is going to go down. The hatchery does fall. Now there are only just a handful of Lings remaining, and even then they try to catch reinforcements. The reinforcements, I mean, they still pose a greater threat. Nice blink control. And with that Arrogfire, he's going in for the kill. We have some desperation spine coolers being thrown down, but alas, they're not going to be done in time. And with that Arrogfire, he's going to be looking to claim the series, looking forward to advancing on into the next round. There is GG, well played. And Arrogfire, he will claim the series 2-0. GG. GG. Arrogfire, he will claim the series. But a shout out to LiquidSerral. Again, as I mentioned before, more of an amateur player. Did step into the ring as a diamond player and surrounded by pros. So yeah, much love here to LiquidSerral. Again, we always do champion players that do sign up for these events. I mean, I remember doing the same thing back at Elima League. I used to, myself, alongside a lot of the other CranKy Ducklings, we'd sign up, and on a weekly basis, we'd play against players like Innovation, players like Ryung, Bunny, Keen. For whatever reason, I always played against a Terran of some kind. But yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And with that, GG, well played. Hopefully from this as well, LiquidSerral can also kind of like learn to prepare for certain timings and not to cut as many corners, especially early on, because otherwise you will be punished. You'll be punished very hard, as we saw from Arrogfire. GG, well played. With that Arrogfire, he will claim the series, and we can now catch up on the bracket, figure out any updates and what has been going on. Oh my god, as the entirety of the first round is concluded, this looks so neat. I don't know what it was here this week, but it's a very neat bracket. I appreciate it. So the first round has concluded. When it comes to the matchups here, nothing too crazy. All the players that we would expect to see advance on did advance on, and from here we're moving on into the next round. Yo, that was a fast series. Oh my god. So we have some catching up to do. So Hero versus Shameless currently ongoing. That's a PvP. Best of luck to Hero, best of luck to Shameless. It's going down. Lambert versus Creator, I believe that's being covered by Wardi. I believe Wardi is covering that series. Max Pax versus Geralt, PvP ongoing. Classic versus Percival, also ongoing in a PvT. We have Cure versus Arrogfire. That is our next series. Arrogfire does advance on into the next round to face off against Cure, so that's going to be what we cover next. And Mana versus Ryung. Mana, he had a really fast series against Choi. That is Choi Galaxy in the first round. So Mana, he 2-0'd Choi, and he also 2-0'd Ryung. Like, really fast games. Like, we just finished our first series, our first best of 3, and Mana, he just won 2 matches. Like, what happened? Like, oh my god. Mana, so cheesy today. What's going on?